Hi guys, I hope you're having a great day. So in this video, I'm going to be working on 3 different wreath or wall decor ideas using mostly items from Dollar Tree. One is a gnome themed wreath. The second one is a farmhouse style nutcracker wreath idea that I had. And the third is going to feature the red truck. I think these are going to be fun projects, so let's get started. For my first wreath, I'm using this grapevine wreath form and this fun sign that I had picked up at Dollar Tree. It features a gnome, says Merry Christmas from our gnome to yours. I just thought it was really pretty and it looks like a large Christmas ornament and it fits perfectly inside of my wreath. So I thought it would be really fun to attach it to the top so that it kind of dangles in the center of my wreath. So I'm just going to attach it to the wreath with some paddle wire. Next thing I'm going to be using on my wreath is this small section of garland. I had purchased a garland to kind of use in different areas, so this is just a piece of that, and the garland was less than $3 to begin with, so it's a very budget-friendly way to add some greens here and there around your house. So I'm just going to attach it to the bottom of my wreath using some hot glue. I wanted to add in some fun pops of red to my wreath, so I'm using these really pretty picks that I purchased last year at Walmart, and I'm just going to tuck those into the wreath. And for my ribbon, I'm using this really pretty sheer ribbon that has sparkle to it that I had purchased. I believe it was at Costco a couple of years ago, and I just thought it would go perfectly with the red and the sparkly ribbon in the picks. So I am going to be using this for my bow, and I'm just going to use 6 loops with 4 tail ends. And if you want to see a video on how I make my bows, I do have a video dedicated to that, and I will have it linked in the description below. But I'm just going to get my bow ready to go and add it to my wreath. So to attach my bow to my wreath, I just used a little bit of hot glue, and you can see that I chose to go with 2 longer tail ends and 2 short ones. I thought that would just give it a little bit different and fun look. And then I'm just dressing up the ends a little bit further by adding the little V-notch cut at each end. And this wreath is ready to display. wreath idea that I had, I want to make a farmhouse style nutcracker wreath. And these nutcrackers are from Dollar Tree and they just don't have the farmhouse look that I want. So I'm removing all of the hair and I am going to give them several layers of spray paint. And it did take several coats of paint to get the look that I wanted. Also wanted to use some greenery on my wreath, and this is just another section of that garland, but I wanted it to have a flocked look to it, so I'm just using some white spray paint to give it that look. So I'm using a smaller sized grapevine wreath for this particular design, and I'm just going to add my faux flocked greenery to the bottom of the wreath the same way, just using a little bit of hot glue. And the next thing I did was attach my nutcrackers to my wreath using hot glue as well. And I wanted to dress up my wreath further, but I didn't want to add a lot of color. I want this to be pretty neutral, so I'm using these sparkly picks that I had purchased, I believe, at Hobby Lobby, and I am just going to fold the end over and hot glue those in place. And I think those are going to look really pretty and just add something extra to my wreath. Because I want this wreath to be pretty neutral in color, I chose to use a burlap ribbon to make my bow. I just tied a simple single loop bow and I'm going to attach that to my wreath. And then I chose to go ahead and add a black and white checked bow as well. So I just made it a little bit smaller and added it to the center of my burlap bow. And I think this is just a fun look. I'm really loving how this wreath turned out. These nutcrackers would look really pretty in a tabletop display as well, but I'm really loving how my wreath turned out. My third idea, this is certainly not a traditional wreath design, but it could be used like a wreath or just a fun wall hanging. I'm using a pizza pan from Dollar Tree and these fun window clings that I had purchased at Walmart. I just love the really large truck design, so I am going to attach it to my pizza pan using a little bit of Mod Podge. Dress it up further, I'm using this really pretty plaid ribbon that I had purchased at Dollar Tree. I'm just going to cut a small section and attach it at an angle at the top of the pan using a little bit of hot glue. After I had my ribbon secured in place, I just cut off the excess and then turned it back over. And I'm going to add a metal word on top of the ribbon using a little bit of hot glue as well. And I chose to use the word blessings. And I picked this up at Dollar Tree as well. Bow, I'm using the same pretty plaid ribbon and I'm just making a simple single loop bow, and I will secure it with a piece of jute twine, and then I'll just attach it using a little bit of hot glue. Dress up my plaid bow a little bit further, I decided to layer it with a jute bow. So I just made several loops in my hand, and then I will secure it with a piece of jute by just tying a knot around the center, and then I will hot glue it in place. And I think this is turning out really pretty. The last thing I needed to do for this design is add a wall hanger. So I just used a piece of jute, made a loop, and tied a knot, and then attached it to the back using a little bit of hot glue. loving how all of these designs turned out. I think they're so much fun, and I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a few ideas. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, like, or comment to let me know. I'd really appreciate it. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and thanks for watching.